choose from the good and evil I was host. Separate the hate from the love with pure emotions. Activate the power of God and put it in motion. Growing like the golden child, now I know I'm chosen. I'm undeniable, undeniable.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Prince of Pain, OG Pop, with What's Poppin' Podcast. I got some smoke for y'all today, you hear me? I got the champ himself in the building, Frez Oquendo. Everybody make some motherfucking noise around this motherfucker. Big Frez. Say what's up to the people of What's Poppin' Podcast, baby.
Thank you all so much for tuning in and representing this great thing we got going with Poppin' Podcast and talking about great things coming up.
I got to interview you back when I first started this a career of mine of podcasting. Maybe about, 5-6 years ago.
That's right, yeah.
We had Alderman Robert Maldonado that night as well.
Yep, I remember.
A lot's gone on since then.
Yes, it has.
In the last few years.
Yes, it has.
You've had a professional boxing career. You've have fought some of the legends and the greats of boxing from Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson himself, and a lot of other boxers. And we're going to get to all that. But first, I would like the people of What's Poppin' Podcast to get familiar with you. You know what I'm saying? Let them know who Frez is. Cool. Where did you grow up at? You're Puerto Rican, right? Aquí tengo un boricua, right?
Oh, yeah.
You see the Humboldt Park flag up there today. You know what I'm saying?
Represent.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, I was born Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras. It's like the metropolitan area in San Juan. Then we migrated, my parents and I and my siblings migrated to Chicago at the age of 1.
Okay.
And we were at Humboldt Park. But then several years later, we ended up moving to Uptown when I was around 5 or 6, something like that. And I lived Uptown my childhood. To the age of 13, I moved to Lathrop Homes, the projects, the most notorious projects, not too far from Cabrini Green. So that's where I started my boxing career, and the rest was history.
Was it your size, or what was it that? Was it people like, hey, you should get into boxing, you should get into sports, or what led you to want to get in the ring?
Interesting. I got a great story. There was neither of that. But, yeah, I used to see my older brother, Hector Morales, another Uptown legend. We all grew up in Uptown, but started boxing in Hamlin Park, which is by the housing projects where me and my brother grew up. He started boxing. And he represented Hamlet Park, and he used to bring a lot of beautiful trophies. I remember I was like 12, 13, around there, and I used to be like, man, I want to start bringing trophies, impressing my mom and my family. And man, my brother's the one that got me into boxing. I thank him very much to this day. He ended up, being a lawyer, in the political realm and servicing the community. And that's one thing led to another. Amateur career in the Golden Gloves, Olympic trials, and profession.
Interesting. Okay. So could you attest that going into boxing at such an early age, having a Chicago legend bringing home trophies, making you want to make your family proud at such a young age, would you say that helped you as a youth in the Chicago community?
Oh, big time, because it prevented me from drugs and gangs and in the housing projects in the Chicagoland area. It's either or. Either you join the gangs, start selling drugs and dipping and dapping. And unfortunately, I did fall into that game for a minute. I ended up catching the case.
Oh wow!
At the age of 18, 19, and even though
it taught you a lesson.
Yes, boxing taught me to say no to gangs and drugs. And man, that taught me, just enough is enough, because boxing saves lives, and it's not only saved my life, it saved my brothers and siblings, saved me from the hood, and my dad, may God rest his soul, he always loved the sport of boxing, and he was a big Muhammad Ali fan, even though he was a track and field star from Puerto Rico. But my dad, I always thought, you could be boxing. You got those big old manoplas, and it means big hands in Spanish.
Those, manoplas are the big old mitts.
Right, the big old mitts. And yeah, to put these youth, you know, 'cause I used to have a lot of fights in Uptown when I was going to Joan FRI. I had a fight back in 87, 86, no, 87. Yeah, right before, during the Sugar Ray Leonard fight. And I remember everybody at Joan FRI is just like middle school, it was like almost a high school. And this one, he was like a bully at the time, his name was Arthur Johnson. Everybody said, you know, he used to fight everybody, whoop everybody at the school, and then one day, you know, he ended up picking me. I was terrified. Like, oh, shucks, man, I'm gonna have to wait. The whole school's gonna come around us. I'm gonna have to fight this dude. Damn, man. I didn't even start boxing at that time. And next thing you know,
what was his name?
Arthur Johnson.
The bully.
The bully. To this day and age, we do keep in contact. He's one of the top chefs in the Chicagoland area. Small world. But anyway, he kind of spoke me, and then once that bell rang, you know, the whole school came out to see the fight, and he picked me. You know, he threw a punch, but I missed, and I threw a punch. He hit me, and that woke me up. And the rest is history. I smashed him, and man, that's when my fighting legacy started. Because the next day when I got back to school, everybody like, man, the talk of time was, man, you see Fred beating Arthur Johnson, Oquendo, man. But yeah, exactly. So I was like, that was my championship moment, you know, at Uptown, you know, when I was a 12, 13-year-old kid. And man, the rest was history. And then the next day we watched the Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvelous Marvin Hagler fight, and that even motivated me more to do the Sweet Science.
There's no boxing like that no more. Them kind of fights.
No, that's history. It's been one.
Yeah, I get Hearns, Haglers. My God, those are classics.
Roberto Duran with Fredo Benitez, our countryman, our youngest champion in history. A lot of people don't know that. At the age of 17, with Fredo Benitez supposed to be part of that Super Five. You know how they got the 4 kings. They should have the 5th king. They had that Puerto Rican with Fredo Benitez, who my foundation brought him from Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria in the fetus position. You know, he was almost pretty much dying. He's in Homo Park now in Chicago, doing great, healing great.
Great.
And
God bless him.
He's healthy and doing good nowadays. Thought I'd mention that.
No, of course. Well, this is your show today. You know, it's all about you. But I got to keep it moving, though, right?
Yep.
We're the story of, you know, you being motivated and making it through high school, getting picked on by a bully, and you whooped his ass, and it inspired you more, and then you watched the Sugar Ray Hagler fight, and, you know, you wanted to get motivated. So I assume you got in the gym, you got some trainers, right?
Yes.
Take me up to the moment that you brought home your first title, and what did that make you feel like?
My first trophy, my first.
But take me through the training process.
Right.
You know, who trained you? What gym was it the first time? Okay. And yeah, take me up to the moment of bringing home that first title.
When you said first title, amateur title or
any title that made you come home and give you that moment that made your family proud.
Oh man, when I first won the Chicago Golden Gloves, that one of the most prestigious amateur boxing titles in history. You know, we just celebrated our 100-year anniversary, Chicago Golden Glove, and my coach Bill Hegler, who's like a father figure to me, he celebrated his legacy because he today and age at the age of 85 still the coach at Hammond Park. To this day, actually, now
God bless him.
You know, I support my gym. You know, and I got sent three headgears. I got a couple of kids fighting. But anyway, yes, I mean,
Golden Gloves.
Golden Gloves was the most prestigious title because, again, it's the longest regaining tournament in sports and amateur boxing. So
tell the people what your record was professionally.
Professionally, I was 38-5 with 27 knockouts. A lot of those losses were controversial to world champions like James Tunney, Chris Bird, just to name a few. You know, and thank God that you know they had a resolution. You know, against the fight with me and Chris Bird. A lot of people, even Bird, and a lot of podcasts admit that I beat him that night. So I'm glad. You know, the WBC.
That was correct.
Yeah, they ended up, you know, Russian gave me a world champion. So I finally got that WBC green belt. I'm gonna bring it to the flag this summer. So anybody in the neighborhood, come on through.
And check them out. And check them.
You know,
where you gonna be at?
In the case at the flag, a Puerto Rican tournament.
Bandera to Bandera. Okay, what were they doing?
That's September 5th.
September 5th.
Yeah, so
okay. We're gonna give a shout out to Jesse Fuentes.
Oh, absolutely.
Who you said that's the new Chicago Alderman for the 26th Ward.
Yeah,
young female, bringing a lot of brand new young energy.
Yes.
I don't think I personally know her, but I know she's done a lot of arts and creative community work, and I salute that.
Yep.
And she's helping my brother out.
Absolutely.
And giving him resources as
Yes,
well
yes, for the kids.
to reach, our youth through what Frez is going on, which is the OFBA. That's the organization.
FOBA Foundation. Yep.
FOBA Foundation. Let's talk about that right now. So how did that start?
Oh, it started by my beloved dad, and God rest his soul. He's the one, taught me being a champion of second chances. And that's why...
champion of second chances. I like that.
Yeah, that's so important because, remember, I was a kid growing up, and I was blessed to have a second chance, through the sport of boxing. Or else I probably wouldn't even be here. I probably would have been in gangs, drugs, locked up, ain't no telling. But the sport of boxing taught me a lot of discipline. And my dad, was telling me once I retire, or towards the end of my career, he should open up a foundation, boxing academy to help underprivileged kids. And I was like, man, Dad, you're right. That's something that I want to get back, even though I'm living today and age in the suburbs and all that, raising my kids in a different environment, but I had to come back to give these kids a second chance, especially a champion in my realm.
Well, God gonna bless you for that. If he ain't blessed you already, he's still gonna, keep blessing you.
Yeah, bless the kids. That's what we are.
So, you got that going on. You're working with the city. You're still. Are you ever involved in like commentating or training yourself?
Yeah. I love to do some commentating. Actually, I like to do a little trip. How they got the Jake Paul, the YouTubers.
I'm glad you brought it. I'm glad you brought it.
Yeah, I love to do some exhibition. Even though
exhibitions.
Yeah. Even though I haven't fought since my heavyweight championship, which
you get in the ring though.
Oh, absolutely. But like I said, I haven't fought since my WBA heavyweight championship fight. Which
If Roy Jones could do it, I believe Big Frez could do it. I think Big Frez is still fuck somebody up. You heard?
Oh, absolutely. I'm still in good health.
That's dope. Well, so as far as the exhibitions, I get that, right? But what do you think about this? You brought him up. What do you think of? Is Jake Paul good for the sport? And do you respect? And does it entertain you? A YouTube sensation guy that was, just a YouTuber, to calling out some of these UFC legends and some ex-boxers and what do you think about all that? What's your take on that?
I'm not a big fan of it, but I can't hate on him. He's pimping the game. You know what I'm saying?
Pimping the game.
It is what it is. And he's doing this thing. And is he a world-class fighter or possibly a champion? Nah, I doubt it. Nah, me personally, I don't know.
Do you respect him as a professional fighter?
Well, technically, yes, he is considered professional, but as far as
he's never had a professional fight though yet.
Well, yeah, those UFC MMA.
You think he could step in the ring and do a solid professional fight with, let's just say,
like me? I'd love to have that.
Not you. We're going to give him somebody now that ain't even a champion.
Right.
Caleb Plant. You think he could stand in the ring and whoop Caleb Plant, the guy that just fought Canelo, the one that David Benavides. I'm not even giving him David Benavides. I'm just giving him Caleb Plant.
Well, again, he's not a world-class fighter. He don't have that experience. And to answer your question, that'll never happen.
Yeah, I don't think not yet. You know what I'm saying? I think he got a good, lucky power shot, and if he catch you, he's gonna catch you.
Power shot.
I hope, but I don't think, man. I don't know. It's just a lot of, Nate Diaz gonna fight him soon, and I really loved Nate Diaz, but ain't no grappling here, but you know what I'm saying?
Sweet science.
So we're gonna see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Give me you walking down the aisle, right? Experience, bro, to let's just say the Holyfield fight, right? What is running through your mind and your blood as you're walking down that aisle to probably one of your most legendary fights?
Yeah, that's interesting you bring that up, because a lot of drilling goes. That's where you work out and get in great shape. And before you even step in the ring, your adrenaline is so like going 100 miles an hour, and your energy can be zapped. It felt like, but that's why you train real hard. And I'm like, wow, I'm getting ready to fight the man that I used to see when I was in grammar school. You know, beat all these legends, knock out Tyson, and I'm like, holy cow. But of course, my realistic mind thinking, yeah, I can beat him because, you know, number one, I'm younger, and number two, I'm a better technique fighter, smarter fighter, and which I've proved in my fight. And it's unfortunate he has a lot of history with the steroid situation. One time I was fighting him, so you know, it's on him. But it was a great feeling. You know, it was a feeling that, you know, I finally got to experience as a little kid watching these guys on pay-per-view, world class, world championship fights. It's like, wow, a little kid from uptown, you know, Homer Park, you know, in the world stage, man. It was a great feeling, a great moment, especially when that first round bell rang and he hit me. Psh, it was on. It was on.
It was on.
It was on like Donkey Kong. You already know.
Favorite Puerto Rican fighter of yours of all time?
You know, I mean, personally, because he was my stablemate, Tito Trinidad, but
Trinidad.
yeah, Tito.
Okay.
I learned so much. Actually, that's where I learned my confidence from his
From
dad.
Tito? From his dad?
Yes, his
Okay.
dad installed that in me, because whoever thought a little skinny kid from uptown, Lake Home Projects, gonna fight or even be considered as a contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. I was one out of a million and think it was No, and I did it. You know, I did something that a lot of people didn't think I could do.
How'd you get that shot?
Knocking people out.
Knocking people out. Knocking people out.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. So, at the time that you were knocking people out, right? Did you ever feel that you had the responsibility to carry Puerto Ricans on to, you know, the next title?
Literally said that when I changed my address, which I mean, I left Chicago to my country. My country embraced, you know, this born Puerto Rican back. It was a great feeling. Not only that, having one of the greatest fighters at that time, Tito Trinidad, as my stablemate and his father, my trainer, it's the best, you know, move I made as far as getting credentials in my career and respect. And ever since I did that, the rest was history. And I had great promotion, and man, I was just in a zone, because I'm like, wow, man, I never thought this would happen to a kid from uptown that nobody think of and made it, you know. And now I'm in the spotlight with all the greats, because, you know, one of the greats are one of my statements, which enhanced my confidence, my inner confidence, because, you know, I wasn't really that confident growing up. You know, I really, you know, the amateur, I was okay, but I needed more.
Tito and his dad. Well, let's talk about Tito. You said his dad helped you with your confidence.
Yep.
Was Tito a very like prideful?
Oh, very
Puerto
prideful.
Rican?
Yes, that's what taught me to be very prideful, because, you know, he did it for the country. You know, it was beautiful. You know, it used to be after the fights, you know, the caravana, we say in Spanish, the caravan, all the way to Coupe Alto, to his childhood, you know, home. You know, it was a great moment, and I was hoping one day that'll be me, which I finally had mine in Puerto Rico, in the projects where I was born. They picked me up from the airport, a caravan all the way, you know, celebrating after the Black Rhino, one of the most ferocious fighters at the time, who beat Lamont Bruce, beat a lot of former world champions. You know, I ended up taking him on, you know, and it was a big risky fight, and I did the unthinkable. That was the biggest upset of the year, and my name was up there, and I was ranked, you know, top 4 in the WBC in 2001, because I knocked the Black Rhino out, who was the favorite, 11-1, and had my first trip from the airport, Puerto Rico, all the way to the projects where I was born in Puerto Rico, Ramon Tonini. And man, it was a great experience, seeing all the people cheering me on, crossing that bridge from the airport to the projects where I was born, and seen all my, my home, people clapping for me, and it was great,
So you actually got to, experience a surreal dream.
Yeah.
But you also were stable mates with your favorite Puerto Rican fighter.
Yep.
Correct?
That's
Okay.
correct, yep.
Who is your favorite heavyweight of all time?
Oh, Muhammad Ali, my mentor. I mean, you'll see me on my social media, my Instagram, pictures of me and the great, because, he lived, a lot of people don't know, he lived in Chicago, and he went to a couple of my fights, coming up. Actually, when Mike Tyson fought Francois Botha, the White Buffalo, at the MGM Grand, I fought right after he knocked out the White Buffalo, because he was getting outboxed with Tyson. And then Hail Mary, and that was it. I was right next to him. I fought the 1996 Olympic, bronze medalist, Duncan Duckworth from Nigeria, 6'5", 250. And everybody thought he was going to knock me out. He was 15-0, 15 first round knockout. I ended up knocking him down twice in the 6th round, and the rest was history. I made the Prospect of the Year, ESPN Prospect of the Year. Whoever thought a little kid from Uptown would be the Prospect of the Year in ESPN and Puerto Rican worldwide in boxing. And I did it.
Congratulations, bro. You definitely have made us very proud on a number of occasions.
Thank you, brother.
If you can tell us and share with us maybe one of the most key pieces of advice that Muhammad Ali ever gave you, what would it be?
Oh, man, like, great advice. I mean, don't never doubt yourself, No matter how big he is, I mean, how fast he is, how strong he is, you'll be able to overcome. Boxing is 80% mental and 20% physical. A lot of people don't know that. And once you get that confidence, the world.
Locked in.
Exactly.
You're
locked in. And the rest is history.
Do me a favor for others young, upcoming, aspiring young boxers, male, female, a la gente allá en Puerto Rico, en Venezuela, México, todos esos países que son latinos.
Yep.
Tell them in English and in Spanish, man. Give them a little bit of advice on, how to get involved and how to stay dedicated.
Oh, absolutely.
And how hard it might be, but stay in the game.
It's very important, you be with those that
Spanish and English too.
Yeah, it's very important to be with those that you trusted throughout your career and got your good, benefit for you and your family, not for their own self pockets. I'm talking about promoters, talking about management. It's unfortunate in my career, I ran into a lot of those schemers, management, and promoters like the Don King, it was pretty bad. I had to lose a lot of money, millions of dollars, to get my freedom, to get my release. So I advise all you all, the youth, to always stick with those who had your back from day one. Como dije en inglés, ahora en español, es muy importante que nunca te olvida que siempre estar con la gente que están contigo en el primer día. Porque hay muchos que están por ahí que quieren nada más coger chance a robarte tu dinero cuando tú estás en situación de campeonatos mundiales y se cree que te quiere y eso no es cierto. Por eso siempre está con la gente que te ha ayudado desde el principio y tú vas a ver la realidad que tú vas a hacer algo bien grande, pero si te quedas con esa gente, como yo tenía Don King, esa gente no va a ningún sitio, y por eso, gracias a Dios, ahora yo soy una leyenda en el boxeo del Salón de Fama.
There you go, a message from the champ himself. En español y en inglés te lo dio las dos formas. I appreciate that. I get to this part of my show, man, where I ask my guests, man, just to make it entertaining, I like to know who's in touch with maybe other podcasts, with music, with movies, and, but today I have the honor and pleasure to have a boxer and not somebody involved in the music industry. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to throw a name out there. I'm going to give you 3 names. I'm going to throw a name out there. And I just want you to say the first thing that comes to mind, you know. I'm not, you know, saying bash nobody ever here. But if, you know, they've been goofy the day before, you want to say something, that's cool. But you can also say something positive about them, you know what I'm saying? And what you think about them there, you know? So the number one I'm going to go with is Canelo Alvarez. What do you think about Canelo?
Looked very suspect in his last fight against a journeyman. I think it's around that time for him to, you know, consider, you know, going on top, because the next fight cannot go the way it went the last, which he slipped through the cracks. So I wish him the best, but
It's time for him to sit down.
Exactly.
It's a young boy sport.
Yeah, well,
Or he ain't got it no more, you don't think? For this competition.
Exactly. He had that last fight, which I was stunned that the man was able to go 12 rounds and give him a hard fight.
Now he's got some. Did you see the 3-deal contract he just signed?
Yeah.
What do you think about that lineup? Who's gonna eat him up first, or is anybody
That's
gonna
what
eat
I'm
him
saying. A new guy, I guess that Charlo.
Charlo.
And then they talking about Benavides and some other monsters. I mean, I can't see him past that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah.
There you have it. Okay. Speaking about the monster, the Mexican monster, David Benavides. He's one of my personal favorites in the boxing world.
Likewise, got to meet him.
And so was Ryan until he let me down. You know what I'm saying? But what do you think about David Benavides and his career and him as? Because see, a lot of these boxers nowadays, they have this tool. Hey,
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
And we get to know them a little bit better because of what they present themselves
Yeah.
on the media lick. So what do you, and he, and also Ryan and Gervonta Davis, you know, they're pretty social media savvy, you know.
Oh, yeah, right.
So what do you think about David, man?
Oh man, he's, you know, colorful, very, you know, a people person. I know him personally.
Dope.
He's at the WBC convention because I'm one of the ambassador at WBC, so I'm a part of the World Championship Committee. And man, the he's the future. He is right now. He's young, strong. I mean, you see what he did to Caleb Plant.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no competition. So he's the future, like what Mike Tyson said on his podcast, the Mexican monster. He has proven that so far.
I gotta ask this since I just talked about both of them, right? Do you think Canelo Alvarez has been ducking David Benavides? And what do you think is gonna happen when they do meet coming up here soon in this little contract of the 3 fight that he has?
That's the $1 million contract. I mean, you know, question that you just said. When they do meet, they might not ever meet because he's got some other situations he's got to deal with. But yeah, it's sad that the sport of boxing has to wait. You know, it should happen now. Him and Benavides, you know, Canelo.
Should have been happening.
Yeah, it should have been happened. But you know, right now, you can't hate on Canelo. He's milking the industry.
Ducking?
Yeah, big time.
Big time.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, well,
you don't want no
okay.
piece of that monster.
Okay. Last, but definitely not least, I'll take you somewhere else. Let's get into the hip hop world now. This is, you know, What's Poppin' podcast.
Oh yeah, 50th anniversary. The year I was born.
I seen you the other day. Well, first of all, did you ever grow up? Who were some of your favorite Latino rappers in the game?
Man, growing up, you know, I remember hearing from the beginning, like Cuban Links, you know, Fat Joe at the time, of course, Big Pun, you know, the greatest, and those are the ones that I could remember.
What was the music you listened to on the way to the ring when you used to fight?
Oh man, I fought several big fights, and the intro was with Ismael Rivera, a song called Controversy. It's a with the congas, you know, controversial. I mean, it was a beautiful intro when I fought David Tua, and it just brought, you know, tears in my eyes. Because I'm like, wow, you know, I felt like in my glory, you know, like wow, it's like a homage. It's going through the hundreds, the thousands of people, you know, for the big fight, the big event. And yeah, I used to rock salsa like Ismael Rivera, one of my favorite salseros.
Okay. Look, well, that's all the controversy you gonna get at this motherfucking thing. You hear me? You was locked and loaded with OG Pop, Prince of Pain, Frez, the big motherfucking Oquendo champion in the building today.
That's what I'm talking about. Chicago.
Do me a favor, Frez. Let's shout out your organization.
Yes.
Are you taking any sponsorships or help? Where can they get you at?
Yes.
And give us your Instagram.
Yes, please, guys, come on, reach out to me. Football Foundation. That's my Instagram. Then my personal is Frez Oquendo. My name is Frez Oquendo. You'll be able to see me on my Instagram. Any donations will be appreciated. I'm having the Flag September 5th. You know, we're collecting donations for this big event for the kids, you know, from ages 7 to 18. So I'm having a lot of things going on, and I'd love for my peeps to collaborate with me as far as funding these kids to make sure they have a second home. And I appreciate, again, you know, reach at me. Football Foundation Instagram, Frez Oquendo Instagram, Facebook, Frez Oquendo, and my foundation, Frez Oquendo Boxing Academy on Instagram, on Facebook, I'm sorry. Frez Oquendo Boxing Academy on Facebook. So please be there, be square, and I hope you all enjoy this podcast, and please spread the good word and donate for a great cause.
It was an honor, man, Frez.
Likewise,
Always an honor.
Likewise.
Hey, look, it's What's Poppin' Podcast. Stay in tune. I'm going to give you all some dope interviews. I got Omari Blaze coming through here next week. I got the week after that, I got Shella H in the motherfucking building as well. And I just got off the phone. Nah, I can't even tell you that. I'll get at y'all. You hear me? Poppin'.
Now everything inside of me, they fear I'm coming with it. Been on my rocky grind, trying to push it to the limit. With that victory in mind, now it's finally time to get it. Committed to my hustle from beginning to the end. Guess they didn't like me humble, so I had to muscle in. I trust me, I ain't got no time to trust in friends. I'm still hoping God could forgive me for my sins. Here we go again.